Okay, special edition, special information. And this is one I'd like you to go back and revisit as often as you need to. Remember, you can keep swapping, going up and down the list of classes, doing whatever you want to whenever you want to. You don't need to follow particularly in any particular order, and you can always skip ahead even if you see something that takes your fancy and you haven't done it yet and you want to do that class and don't follow them in order, absolutely fine. No problems at all. So today is all about breathing. I have 3 different types of breathing exercises to give you today. They all have a different purpose, they all have a different function. Okay, so the first breathing exercise we're going to do is to help with your sleep. I know one thing that happens as we get older is sometimes our sleep isn't as good as what it used to be. Sometimes it can be because we're not as active as we used to be with our body and our brain. And because we're not wearing it out enough during the day, we just find we just don't need as much sleep as what we used to need. But sometimes it can be for other reasons, some tablets, medications, all sorts of reasons why our sleep can be a little bit compromised as we get older. So a nice simple way to help with that. So we're going to stay seated for these, but you can do them laying or you can do them standing. So whatever you think is better for you. I'll do my best to explain this. So before you join me, I'd like you to watch and listen just for a second and then we'll do it all together. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to close one nostril. So I'm going to sound a little odd, but I'm going to use 2 hands so that you can clearly see what nostril I'm using. But when you're doing it yourself, you can just swap between the thumb and the finger as you're closing a nostril off. But if I do that, it covers my mouth. 2, it covers the bottom part of my face and you can't see what I'm doing. So for the purpose of the video, I'll use 2 separate fingers to close off either nostril as I'm going through. So what we're going to do, I'm going to close one nostril. I'm going to breathe in through the open nostril for a count of 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I'm going to hold for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold for 4. Then I'm going to breathe in for 4. Hold for 4. Breathe out for 4. Hold for 4. And then breathe in for 4. So when you first start, you'll just take that breath in through the one nostril, hold for 4, then out through the nostril, holding for 4, in for 4, hold for 4, out for 4. So we're going up and down. So you're breathing out and in and out and in with a hold at the top. And as we're either breathing out or in out of each nostril. So we won't do this for too long. We'll just get the pattern in the brain. So cover one nostril and let's start the process. So let's breathe in that nostril, hold, change, breathe out, hold, in, hold, out, hold, in, hold, out, hold, in, hold, out, hold, in, hold, and out. There's no specified period of time to do that breathing. So this is sleep breathing. I suggest you do it in bed before as you're going to bed. So as you lay down, do that breathing, great results. I'm getting great feedback from that sleep breathing to help with the sleep, waking up in the middle of the night, rather than laying there thinking about things that you can do nothing about, nothing you can do while you're in bed, apart from think about it. It's not going to be very helpful to your sleep. So rather than doing that, go through that nice relaxing breathing. It's used in some yoga, it's used in some forms of meditation as well. And it's just to relax the body, to get that nice deep breath going in the body. The next one I'm going to show you is for the health of your lungs. So for those of you that, actually for all of us, as we get older, what happens is we get super tight through our diaphragm. Now, your diaphragm is second in importance to health of your heart. I bet most of you didn't know that. So it's heart, diaphragm. We would have thought maybe it was a lung. But if you think about it this way, if you are tight through your diaphragm, how is your lung meant to expand to its full capacity if your rib cage can't move? So as we get older and we do more sitting and we tend to get that in that rounded position way more often, we get tight through the chest, as I've explained many times before. We get loose in the back muscles, which means we get that rounded shoulder look like this. And then what do you think happens to the ribs? That's all coming in. We're squashing that lung in when we're sitting and standing in that position. And you find yourself slouching in the couch like that often. Do you think you can get a deep breath in that position? No, you can't. So what we're doing here is we're training the diaphragm to open up, to really open up to its full capacity, and we're teaching it to stretch, to allow more room for the lung to expand. So what we're going to do with this one, we're going to take 4 deep breaths in through the nose in 4 layers. We are not going to breathe out in between those 4 breaths. So we're going to take a little breath in and hold, little breath in and hold, little breath in and hold, and another little breath in. And then we're going to hold that breath for as long as we physically can whilst we are patting our diaphragm. Now, I can't pat up here because my microphone is there, so I can't do that. But you're going to pat your whole area of your lung and your diaphragm, all around here, little pats. And you're going to do that and hold the breath for as long as you physically can until your brain says, no, I'm at my limit. When your brain says, no, I've got to breathe out, I want you to bring the body weight forward through the legs and breathe out down to the floor through your mouth. All right, so let's do that together. Relax the arms in the lap. So you're going to take 4 breaths in, 4 increments of breath. Do not breathe out in between, all through the nose. No mouth breathing. Until we breathe out at the end, then we force that air out of the mouth. So let's go. So breathe in. 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 Last one. In. Hold. Pummel. As long as you can. I did not hold that for as long as I could. I can hold my breath for 2 minutes, but I think you would get a little bit annoyed watching me pummel my chest for 2 minutes. Not necessary. Couple of deep breaths. Some of you may get a little bit dizzy from this, especially if you are a shallow breather and only use the top part of the lung. Again, the results I'm getting from this are phenomenal. People being able to come off their Ventolin completely just from doing this one little thing. Now, the reason we're pummeling is to loosen anything that's in the lung and to get it out. Doesn't necessarily have to be something you can see, microparticles, just getting everything out of the lung. Let's do that 2 more times. So you would do this 3 times in a row. at your own pace, depending on whether it tended to make you a bit dizzy or not. So let's do that again 2 more times. So, in, in, in. Last one, in. So at home, you would do that for as long as you physically can, making the diaphragm hold the biggest breath you can for as long as you can, keeping that diaphragm all pushed out. One more time. If you're dizzy and you're not ready to do another one, just take a seat and stay where you are. All right, one more if you can. 4 breaths in. I'm not going to talk through this one. I think we've got the general gist. If I talk, I'm letting air out. So this one I'll do properly. Okay, so let's go. Some of you cough. May make some of you cough. If you were a smoker in your previous life, you need to keep your lungs healthy. So many older adults end up with lung issues. It can be simply prevented by making sure that we are able to get the oxygen in that we need to do our daily business. So many of my people are finding that they're getting more energy just from doing this one thing once a day. Is it not worth you taking a couple of minutes to see if this is going to make a difference to how you feel? Some of what we feel is because we're not getting enough oxygen into our body. Take a deep breath in now. Most of you should go, wow, okay, so that's what it's like to take a deep breath. Okay. Yeah, I can take a deeper breath in now than I've been able to for a very long time. Your body needs oxygen. It needs the muscles in the diaphragm to be able to expand and contract. Again, we spend so much time sitting in that forward position, standing in that forward position, and we wonder why we don't feel so good. A little bit lack of energy. So that was the second one I wanted to give you. The third one I want to give you is all about a daily breathing exercise. It's just a daily breathing exercise. Now, you can stand for this one if you would like to, completely up to you. I'm going to stay seated, but this daily one you can do wherever you happen to be. It's not quite as obvious as the 2 that we just did. So with this one, we're going to take a breath for count 4. So we're going to breathe in for 4, and then we're going to breathe out for longer. So we want to breathe out for a count of 6. So we're going to breathe in for a count of 4, then we're going to breathe out for longer through the nose, so in through the nose and out through the nose for a count of 6. So in theory, you're pushing out more air than what you're taking in with each breath. Now we're going to do three different hand positions as we're going through this. So the first hand position that we want is on the belly. So hip bones are here. Have the hand just inside the hip bone, just on your tummy there. So we're going to do 3 with the hands on the tummy. So let's breathe in for a count of 4. In and out through the nose. In for 4. Out for 6. In for 4. Out for 6. In for 4. Out for 6. Good. So you may have found you really need to force through the nose a little bit more air. You might feel a little heady, completely normal. Hands on the rib cage now. So 3 of each. 3 positions, 3 times. Now, I want you to feel what's going on as you expand the lung. So breathe in for 4. Out for 6. Four in. Out for 6. In for 4. Out for 6. And relax. Hand position 3. Chest back. When you are breathing out, when you're pushing the breath out through the nose, I want you to think about pushing the air out of the back of the body. It's just an imaginary thing. Clearly you can't, but it's just an image. So hand on the back, hand on the front. 3. So let's take those 4 breaths in. Out for 6. In for 4. Out for 6. In for 4. And out for 6. And relax those arms. Daily breathing. So twice in the morning, twice midday, twice in the evening, or once in the evening, up to you. So if you can do that, just honing in on your body and those breaths, slowing things down. If you're someone that suffers with anxiety, the sleep one or that one there will really help remove those negative thoughts that sometimes we can get running around in the brain. All of those things that we're thinking. Those negative thoughts are absolutely useless to you. And I know you know that at the time as well. But taking your mind from wherever it is, in whatever place it's in, to just focusing on that breathing, the counting. When you're doing the counting and the breathing, guess what you can't do? You can't think about those negative things that might be causing you a little bit of stress. And also the other thing it's going to do is going to cause you to shallow breathe. Those little shallow breaths right at the top of the lung. We need to expand the lungs to keep our body healthy as we move forward. Might not be until you start to hit your 80s and your later 80s that you have those lung issues. But how about we prevent those things from happening? Remember, we're trying to make our body strong, healthy as we possibly can with doing simple things like this. And they are simple.